Every Friday at 7 a.m. If you click the bell, you'll get a notification. If you're new, welcome. And we're going to have a look at what is coming through. Now, I do have the karmic read up in the Members Hub at the moment, and after the live, I'll open the extension. And for Divine Masculine, Divine Feminine, your readings will be up to date in the Members Hub and then launched on the main platform. But to get first tips, feel free, to join the membership hub. The Twin Flame Hub's only $11, and you get 3 sessions a month. How are we doing? Are we feeling tired? I'm telling you, we're feeling tired. Run down, worn out, spent. We're having Mercury retrograde. It's then going to dip back into the house of Capricorn. It's like, oh God, how's this going to go? Hi, Angela. Hi, Big Casino. Hi, Giggle. Are you feeling as tired as me, lady? I feel like I said to Twin, I feel like I've hit a wall. And he goes, but no, you might have. I said, no, the wall's hit me. Dazed and confused. Okay. We're going to pick a Rune today. Now, this is going to be a very interesting 3 weeks. Very, very interesting. If you have been following me on Facebook, I have been doing updates on there, and I'm starting to share things both to Instagram and Facebook. Trying to get life together. Oh, it's already looking interesting. Okay. Let's see the surrounding energies between this connection. And then we're going to look at the masculine and the feminine, how this is jointly affecting H. Okay, I do feel the masculines at the moment are having an opportunity to break a pattern, having an opportunity to break out of a mental prison. But I do feel that they're starting to get quite burnt out. I'm also feeling that their focus is very heavy on you. If they are in a karmic relationship, especially from the karmic read, I mean, those of you, hi Elizabeth, we had a lovely chat, didn't we? You know, depending on, I do read for the collective, so we're going to try and break it down. I did say to Elizabeth the other day, for those of you that are in a union, which is going to be more people and more people, I'm just going to be honest, is that I may start actually doing videos based on those that are directly together. And I did put out a call out in the last video for any couples that are actually in union to give us a heads up on the website. And we're going to do a webinar and we're going to share it to YouTube. And that's how we can directly share our experience on our twin flame path in union, so that you're not just directly hearing it from me. And thinking, hey, you're the what would the word be? Yeah, you're the expectation to the situation. No, yeah, it's like, no, I'm not special, right? we don't get off scot-free in this journey. I was just looking this morning at Machine Gun Kelly and Megan Fox, and I was like, it'll be very interesting because this year I do have a webinar that I'm going to be hosting for the Twin Flames. It is linked to Juno in astrology, which is quite a karmic cycle. It's very much where the divine feminine counterpart, you know, it's a test both between masculine and feminine. But it can cause upheaval, and it is going to be in the house of Pisces this year. So, heck, even channeling that right now, I'm like, I don't know, man. Okay, let's have a look at feminine. Bear with me while we're chatting. Definitely a cycle is, we're about to start a new cycle, okay? Both parties here are really wanting to have this brand new cycle. What that's going to mean, though, you know, it's almost like we're looking at a painting and we're saying, okay, we know what we want out of life, but how the heck do we get there? It was so funny. When it does come to actually manifesting this twin flame connection, initially you'll go through a massive stage of disillusionment, victim consciousness, and you can be very 3D. And it's kind of problematic when you're 3D because you're in the monkey mind. And while you're doing that, it's usually because you're healing. But after you can move beyond the crazy cycle of ascension and you move into acceptance, it's when you actually do return to this belief that you totally do know you're going to hear from this person. I'm just going to say it. Once you do get there, congratulations, you've made union with yourself. And when you do, it's then that the manifestation happens. But it's because you're having this battle both with the 5D and the 3D that it doesn't alchemize. So until you can psychologically come to terms with what happened, the good, the bad, and the ugly, think back to any time suddenly when you got communication, you were usually so blasted tired that you were just like, oh goodness, I can't think of this anymore. And that's when you tend to get that movement and communication. It's because you've just released. You've released yourself because your mind's going crazy and Mercury retrograde peeps. That's what's going to happen. So I do see, especially because we do have Venus in the house of Capricorn, and for the collective of the twin flames, yes, it'll be moving direct, but Mercury is going to dip back into Capricorn. That is, and I did say, I really do feel a lot of you. This can cause conflict. So in karmic relationships, it's definitely going to be very heavy. Now, a karmic doesn't have to be a partner. It can be a child. It could be a family member. It could be a boss, right? Wherever that cycle is, it can pop off if we're not having healthy boundaries with ourselves, if we're not honoring and listening. This can be a really great time to journal. Probably going to be a little bit more complicated as we move through Mercury retrograde because you're going to feel like it's a bit like the intensity, right? Suddenly it's very intense. Somebody's asking you a question and you're going to remember the email to get into. You're going to remember the process, and it takes so much psychological energy to do it that you could feel a bit frizzled. And this is one of those weeks, I would say probably moving into February, it's going to feel really full on. So you can brace for the storm. That's all I'm going to say. It's going to pass, but for none of us, we will come out of this unscathed. It is going to be one of those full on transits. So we've got a cycle at the moment, and it's collective energy, okay? So some of you might have gone through this already, but it does feel very frizzled. Your nervous system is going to be quite high on the octane. For those of you in a connection with your twin already, it can be subjects relating to work. You may also be sensing that the masculine is working very hard. Some of you are feeling, does this person actually have the ability in the connection, be it single or couple? Is the person in the connection able to do the work? And it's funny that it's almost coming through like a Juno retrograde, potentially because we we had Venus in the house of Capricorn. It's very strict. I'm seeing that it's in our abilities to do things, but in the joint connection, I'm seeing there's something quite major coming up in the masculine's life. They might silently, Mercury is messing with my words, silently be considering options. And I did say this a few weeks ago. For some of you, it's purely work. Now, how it's going to pan out as we move forward, because of the stress relating to these areas, we can accidentally take it out on each other, okay? There can be fear, there can be emotions. We just moved out of the full moon in Cancer. It can be our well-being, our security. Your lower base chakras are going to be going. I'm seeing that the masculine does want to do the right thing. There's a guilt complex at the moment. It's funny because feminines are attempting to, at the best they can, and we face our shadow inside this, be it we're in the connection or not, is that we are trying to get into duality in January, obviously, because it's 11/11, right? We're trying to get into that duality to make those dreams come true. But the magnitude of what we need to do in our own personal lives and theirs in the aura and the joint chakras at the moment, there's a lot of sacral chakra. But the sacral chakra can become overridden. It's in overdrive or it's inactive and it's really sluggish. So I call it a sloppy chakra, and it's the joint connection and the twin flame path. So if you are feeling very unmotivated, very fatigued, Balance your sacral chakra at the moment, really in aiding this Venus retrograde, because it won't just be, it's passion, it's lust for life, it's healthy boundaries. If it's really sluggish, you just go with the flow and you end up being a doormat. You have no passion in life, you lack luster. So try and balance that chakra out at the moment, and I feel it's going to alleviate some of the ascension symptoms. I think that because both parties here, I do feel the masculine was looking at you and, and be it they're directly in front of you, psychically speaking, how it's coming through is they have concerns for you. They're concerned about your well-being, but it's the pressure of the lineage of how they've been conditioned is that they feel they need to come to the table and be doing the role more traditionally than what it has been so far. So they're actually being quite strict on themselves. They want to financially be able to provide for you, whether you want it or not. It's to do with their belief systems. It's what they want to do. It's how they want to come towards you. So whether they're discussing it or not, this is what's going on in their mind at the moment. Something has gone down, and I think because of such, and I was linking back to January, the beginning of January when we were doing the readings, a lot of channel messages were coming through relating to 2021. This is still the case because you can effectively look at Venus retrograde, Mercury retrograde as a lot of crap relating to the past. And I think because of that, it did change the trajectory, and I'm telling you, this Mercury is messing with my words, the trajectory of how this was supposed to play out. Okay, some of our wounds, yes, are going to come up. Some of us are revisiting some of those things. Some of us are being really, really strict. I did say Venus retrograde in Capricorn was making us feel have to be accountable, but we're going through that shadow of the wounds we're having. So you could have a slight trigger depending on your experience with twin flame path. You can become more successful with dealing with that. It's not that it goes away. It actually amplifies as you go into union. But because you have the tools, you're more able to, it's like going to university. That's why I'm doing the webinar with the ones in union. Going to university, having all those ascension symptoms, feeling like it's hell on earth, and then directly going into the connection and then using those tools and becoming good at it. So it's not like you're, okay, I'm a magician and everything's going to be perfect. No, I have these memory systems. That's the humanistic experience. And I'm in front of a circumstance that is changing, but do I dare to dream? Do I dare to believe? You're very cautious. You're in awareness you're doing it, but you're very cautious. So I do feel, Aries and Chiron is direct. So the good thing is for the collective of the twin flames, even though that moon is going to bring emotions up for us over the next few weeks, plus Mercury retrograde, what I'm seeing here is we're going to be able to move through these challenges. They're big changes. They're big emotional upheavals. I feel there can be people around you. I think the caution is in your previous connections, there was a lot of manipulation. In your current state of being, a circumstance can be the wounds trying to manipulate you. So it's a spiritual test. But I don't feel this is the masculine or the feminine doing this. I feel this is more because we can't manipulate each other. Our guides won't allow it. You can go into it. It ends up being a karmic test. It can be a conversation piece, but if this does go on, it delays it, okay? Just be really frank with your twin if you need to. If they move away, they will move back towards you. But I am seeing in the past, these wounds of manipulation, these wounds of where we were lied to, we are facing that shadow and we're looking at it. But intuitively, if somebody speaks to you, and especially I think both parties here are really thinking back to previous conversations. This can be a most recent one. Or it could have been in the last, I'm seeing 3 months max. It's something of a conversation piece, communication, text message or other. This could be an individual that was in their lives, but for me, it's coming through that it was a conversation piece that was had between both parties here. It can go further back, but it's coming up again right now. So I do feel Divine Masculine is really looking at it and reflecting upon that behavior. They're also thinking about what they gave to others versus what they gave to you. they are taking what you said into consideration. They're also taking your emotions into consideration, but they also know that they can't lie to you, okay? Because you guys do have a very psychic connection. You're very tapped into each other. It's sort of one of those connections that when you are calm, when you view that individual, you can see through the facade. So they do know that you do read them like a book, and that because of your psychic energy, you're able to tune into how this is playing out. I do feel there is a situation at the moment that is relating to this new beginning. There also can be a subject relating to a child coming up, and that's a very large message. I do feel they kind of understand that if they had chosen another person in the past, that really hurt you, but their intention is that they really do want this new beginning. Again, I just keep seeing this image that they are reading something that you sent them. This is a letter, this is a text message, this is something that they're looking over now. This can be a metaphor for their tuning into what the future map is going to be. I feel they're having a lot of troubles at the moment with concentration, so they are going away with the fairies. I do feel that if they are in a karmic relationship, their focus is very much on the future. I'm hearing the term white noise. They're very vacant when it does come to the people around them at the moment. Because it's such a strict energy. It's a strict energy where it's like they're trying to mull over this problem and find a physical solution. They're in the monkey mind, but it is with the best of intents to solve this. For some, it is this pending outcome that is about to come through. And I do feel whatever this is, it's liberating them. This could be signing a contract, receiving a new job, making a choice to go left or right in a contract. But they're definitely at a very personal level. They're having you in the consideration of it, but they also know it's going to take the pressure off them and they're going to be more able to be themselves. So I'm seeing a lot of paperwork. I'm seeing a plan, a map. This is either happening in their mind or it's a physical piece of paper in front of them and they're directly tuning into it. Lots and lots of plans for the future. It won't look anything like it did before. They're really over that. Like they're really thinking in their mind when it relates to you that they're trying to do that catch-up time factor. They do feel they're really running out of time, but that's a personal thing inside their life. There is a lot of conflict happening. I do feel for some of you there could be communication. Some of you might have had quite choppy communication. Some of you directly are moving into it. So pre-warned, forearmed. And it's not that has to be, for those of you that are in the connection, that it means it's going to break. It's the sheer, like I said, it's the sheer frustration of what directly is happening around you, trying to pull those things together. I do feel even the ones that are in separation at the moment, I am definitely seeing a polarity that there is deep, deep frustration. A lot of the times you can look at the mirror of what is happening inside your life and it will directly mirror there. So if you're struggling with work, family, home, stability, 9 times out of 10 that individual is simultaneously going through it as well. What's this? What have they got up there, slave? I don't know how the middle section is so about the masculines at the moment. I think it's because to a degree, which we'll look at the feminines in a bit, this is the joint energy. I mean, masculine's talking quite a bit in this. For some of you, there's a social function coming up. I feel you'll attend, but you're not really present. You'll do the right thing, which is funny because we do need to learn about healthy boundaries, but I feel it's something you intend to do. This can be a person's birthday party. This can be a get-together. It's a catch-up. Whatever this is, I do feel there is, something that you're going to, but it's like you're not completely present. I do feel it's because you are like the lady in waiting, but it's because you're mulling over certain situations, but you're still going to be there with bells on. I do feel there is a surprise that masculine has up their sleeve. Some of you are feeling this stagnation, that there's nothing that's moving, and it's polar opposite. I do feel it's moving extremely fast. You may, because you have been really working on your ascension symptoms and tuning out of this individual to cope with it. What is going to come as a total surprise is maybe out of the blue, this person actually turning up. I do feel there's a conversation piece to do with the reasons why stagnation has been there. Now, for some, this can be at an emotional level, right? We surely will. So there is this transformation that is coming, but there's also the reality that, you know, both parties here have felt quite stagnant. It has been due to circumstances beyond people's control. The transits weren't happening, that polarity. But whatever this delay is, it's like it's going to be a breath of fresh air once you are able to have this conversation. But something's going to come as a surprise. I do feel I feel a lot of tower moments, I'll be perfectly honest. Now, it doesn't have to be that these tower moments end life, you know what I mean? It's things that are popping off, but it is literally like throwing you on another planet. That's how it's going to feel. It's like, oh gosh, you know, I thought I was going left, now I'm going right. But they're going to be things in our own individual lives that are directly happening. And it's giving you such a changed perspective that this new life you're moving into is going to be far more successful. But it does mean that there won't necessarily be, you know, it's not going to feel nice going through. I'll just be honest. But whatever it is going to give you, it's going to help you financially. It's going to help you emotionally and psychologically. But I do feel masculine is going to be giving you some updates as to what these things are. Yeah, you're definitely going to have some wins, especially when it does come to finances. But you can have these things simultaneously popping off. I think as you move through this week, you're either going to get quite a few dream state notions, but it almost feels like both parties want to get back to the romance, but there's also that reality sense of the 3D, which is quite sucky. Yeah. This came out before. We have grandfather sky. It's in reverse. There's some things that are beyond our control. I do feel that some of you are thinking that divine masculine isn't responsible anymore. And I think, you know, that was one thing I went through. I was looking at it that way too at one stage. When I did step away from the ego, I realized in many facets this person was extremely responsible, but generally not at that time towards me. And that was victim consciousness, but you know, it was a factor, right? When you do move into the connection, what you're going to realize is actually how mature this person is. It's just the factor that they won't bite off more than they can chew. That's why the hold up was there, is because that tying out of that cycle, they're very mad at themselves. They're very mad at themselves, like they didn't have the courage to move into this with you. There is something from the past that is currently being tied up, but they do want to bring that. They do want to bring that back into balance. They do want to bring this direct connection back into balance. Let's see what we need to know between this connection with the Rune. There more than likely are things that Divine Feminine has been asking her guides. This is to do with Uranus and Taurus. I know it is. Oh, Lord. Whenever I say that, my twin says to me, the Mercedes-Benz song. And I'm like, I don't like Mercedes-Benz. I don't. I'm a bit more of a hot rod car girl. If you noticed, I have been using pink for the images. I didn't want to initially because I don't want the masculines to feel smothered by pink. Anywho, but I don't know why pink's coming up quite a bit at the moment. We have I told you this is Uranus and Taurus. North Node and Taurus, divine feminines. There is a change happening with you guys. And this is a transformation for 18 months. It is the divine feminines having a huge shift. It's something very personal. You can have some really major experiences coming up. There's nothing wrong with the pink. Look, I had an issue with pink. I'll tell you the story at the end of it. Remind me at the end also. I'll give you a heads up what it was about. So we have Uranus and Taurus. Now, this is in reverse. It's like some of you, it can be that your nervous system is really affected. Some of you, it's almost like, you're trying to keep grounded. It is to do with earth. It is to do with the foundation, your nervous system. Drizzling is the weeping of clouds, the ruin of the hay harvest, and the shepherd's barn. Let's see what the esoteric means. Strength, courage, skill, cunning, determination. In reverse, degeneration, weakness, fallibility, subservience. I did say be very careful during Mercury retrograde and during Venus, right? Because it's in the house of Capricorn. It's very Saturn in nature. It's very strict. I really see a lot of gossip coming up. I do feel this to be going in divine masculine's favor. I also do feel this is going in divine feminine's favor if you have been coming correct. But I also feel there are things around you that you can feel quite low on and feel like it's quite karmic-y. You're trying to correct these things, but some of you are kind of feeling, look, I did the right thing. I've been focusing on my side of the path. I've been, going through my ascension. Why, when I'm good and I behave, do I not get the good outcome? And why does a karmic get a good outcome? That is not a permanency, and it's usually due to codependency, okay? Let's see what suggestion it gives. Degeneration, dissipation, weakness, and self-pity and self-ignorance. That's why I said you need to reach acceptance. This moon's going to trigger it. So initially, you will feel as though you failed. You'll feel as though you're never going to be able to achieve those things. Everything, financial, emotional, twin flame union, all of that. If you're getting into that negativity, it's natural. My sister's messaging me. But if you can just move beyond the ego and sit and be present and focus on that of what is in your control, you can move yourself back into alignment, and what it's going to do is bring that opportunity to you. But if you're in that negativity cycle, it's always like this. They did this, they did that. You're actually sending that out through your third eye. And during Mercury retrograde, that's going to bring all those polarities towards you. So if you're having issues come through, let me give you a coaching session. Definitely clear your third eye of that. So anything relating to integrity, strength, and liberation. It's saying we need to get over that very quickly, or we're going to karmically attract it. It's saying don't be a wet drip. It's hard because when you're hurting and you're going through that, the thing is, if it's a subject that you have been looking over and it has been for a while, tap out of it. Give yourself a break. Give yourself 5 minutes to actually look at it, and then get into this habit of shifting it so that you can do something else. Fill your time with, okay, I'm going to go do my chores. I'm going to go do, is it the kids? Is it exercise? But use your energy. Don't waste your energy, because it's taking you backwards and down, and it's not moving you to that high vibe. And I'm saying that it's quite important you do that. I do feel the reality is those of you that have moved into detachment where it's not making you angry, I feel it's that pocket at the moment that is going to get communication. You can shift that about very quickly, but at the moment, that's what's coming through. Now, for the feminines, left or right, you pick. It's your energy we're channeling. You're the collective. Really, I would say clear your homes at the moment. Some of that can be coming up because divine masculine is directly thinking about the past, and I would say that is a huge potential. There's guilt relating to the past. So if you're going over an old wound that you had looked at before and it's coming up again, thanks. I don't think it's you, okay? Be in awareness of where the energy is coming from, because I do feel at the moment you're directly channeling the masculine's thought processes. And so when you're revisiting it, you're like, I've looked at this 100 times. Why is this coming up? I'm fine. It's because they're tuning into you and what went down. Okay. Okay. Some of you are like, look, do I need to pull this down? You are going through a rebirth. It can feel very frightening. You have the Death card as the crowning energy, which does make sense. Venus in Capricorn takes us to the underrealm for our rebirth. So we're having a rebirth and we're scared. We're kind of feeling, what does this mean? Am I lovable? Am I going to be able to track that because I'm changing? Does it mean that I can, bring those good things in, or is it over forever, ever? Now, it's more that you're having a rebirth. You're going into the soil. You're being regenerated. It could have been a real hard time, so to speak. So I do feel this is a positive thing. But in order to have the new beginning, you need to let it go. It sounds crazy. And I'm probably going to get a lot of hate off this. And it's not meant to be judgmental. It's a process that I've noticed over the 25 years, plus it's what the cards are saying, is that is the truth. It's not detachment in a sense, I have to let that person go. It's detachment from a sense of you've looked at it from all angles and you kind of mulled over it, and even if it doesn't make sense, sometimes don't try to get it to make sense. That naturally it will come to you where you can look at it and something is going to make sense. But I feel if you are in the anxiousness and going through a purgatory experience, it's going to pass. But just remember, try to not live there, because your total outcome is for high vibration. And, emotionally, you can be very fretful that this is over. Some of you may choose for it to be so. That doesn't mean to say universe is going to stop your ascension process. And if they feel it's divinely guided to bring this person back into your life, you can then address it then. But for some of you, you could be considering that you just don't want this path anymore. And it's funny because when we are born into the circumstance, it was a choice previously. Yes, we do have, what would the word be? Once you reach union with self, you can choose anything. But there won't be angst, there won't be anger, there won't be hate. It'll be harmony. So that's when that aspect of the karmic cycle will stop. But until then, it's not really something in your ascension path you can avoid. It's an energy. I do feel some of you are thinking that due to some of the paths that the divine masculine has walked down, some of you could be thinking that there's a contract here. Some of you can be thinking, gee, with all the hassles and all the dramas, is it dragging karmic energy into your life? This could be a circumstance that they're currently dealing with, or that has been present in their life, and some of you can be really worried about it. Like, how will this directly affect my foundation? I do feel some of that is moving to the past. Some of you are thinking on it's almost like you're thinking about it. It's in the air. It's causing concerns. I feel ultimately you're going to start getting into balance, but you really, really are ready for a give and take relationship. If you do have communication with this individual, you need to be very careful in the way that you are communicating with them. Obviously, if we're really agitated, stressed, and we're paranoid that this person's going to hurt us, we're going to go into warrior princess mode. That automatically is not going to work inside the connection, because we do need to... it's not that it's bad that you're having those feelings. It's necessary at the moment for you to understand it's going to affect the flow, the chi of that. Some of you, I do feel, are going to have a physical conversation. Some of you, it is merely happening in a 3D element where you've mulled over it enough and you're like, look, I have to let this go. But I do feel you're really attracting in a person that is more balanced. But that's point blank what you're wanting, is balance and fairness, justice. Try to not go karmic-y ass on this individual. I'm just going to say it. Because some of you may have a belief system in your ego what justice is. Universe generally balances that. What Twin said something to me the other day. And I said, that's not karma. Olsen's in the house. That's not karma. All of us get good and bad. You know, I got so hung up on karma for so many years. Now I look at it as universal order, right? Yes, what goes around comes around. That's good things too. The healing is in your perspective. It's in your emotions. If we have so much attachment to what karma looks like, then we're actually not healed. We're actually feeling vengeful. One of those risky times at the moment during this transit. Try and keep balanced. We do get karma in life. We get both good and bad. So try and let go of that. It will balance out. I do feel some of you are seeing our totem. Our totem, right? This is keeping up at night. This is messages coming to you from the divine. I feel you can be feeling like you might be open, then really putting your emotional chastity belt on. It's hot as hell, Olsen. It's horrid. I think we got to 115 Fahrenheit, and we're having a heat wave for about a week. Yes. I am seeing that union is close, okay? Hi, Dawn. I'm seeing that it's close, but I feel you're not going to be doing all the work. I think this whole experience has pulled you back to a point where you're just like, look, I'm going to do me. You do you. If you're interested, great. If you're not, I'm going to let it go because it was all too hard, right? So that is where you start seeing movement, is because you're letting it go like it's a job. You're trying to make healthy choices. But I do feel there's people around you at the moment that can be putting opinions in it. And I think this can be quite problematic, but it's only going to show you your shadow. Somebody's going to try and introduce you to somebody. Somebody is also making a pass at some of you. If you have a belief that another person is going to be safer, not necessarily. I do see divine feminines as looking at their work. And I do feel this week masculines can be having ascension symptoms. I kind of feel they're getting quite run down. Divine feminines, there's something coming up. For those of you that have children, there is something coming up with your children this week. But there is definitely a new beginning here. I actually feel there's going to be some quite exciting things popping off over the next 3 weeks for Divine Feminine. Okay, as I was saying that, you want to see the card that came out. It's come up twice for Feminine. I really feel because you're going to have something shift your perspective onto another subject, I kind of get that you're going to have an opportunity to reconcile. Now, reconciliation can come through in a few ways. Number one, first it will come through in you are making union with self, and that's harmony, inner harmony. The next, I do feel it's shifting your focus. So all that energy that we were giving and putting divine masculine initially in the initial stages on a pedestal, we're realizing that we need something in our life for it to be passion, you know, last passion, but it's more, it can be a goal. But I think this is something extremely exciting. This can be getting back into your hobbies, getting back into exercise, getting back into your career and looking at it and feeling really, really excited. You want some sense of direction. And I feel once you shift your energy onto that, I do feel suddenly you're having this surprise. I do feel it's going to be while you're at work that you have this communication. But I definitely see you've raised the bar of what you're wanting. Now, masculine at the moment, there is a partnership coming for them. They are thinking currently on partnerships of all sorts. This can be with friendship groups. This can be with clubs. This can be with karmic. This is also relating to you. Now, whatever that is, they're going over it in their mind. You've accepted the fact that things have to go in order to come full circle. You've accepted that. You had to go to the past, South Node Scorpio, to move to the future. of the new you, divine feminine, North Node Taurus. Masculine on the other side of it in their transits, Jupiter's in Pisces. The mind being the prison, moving beyond the veil into potentialities. And I think they're actually realizing they're limitless. In the past, they were more rational than they, it was safe. They were playing things safe. I do feel at times they weren't too fussed about the future, but I do feel right now they really are. They've got a lot of emotions coming up about you. Like I said, they're very determined. They're very determined to make sure that this flowing plan goes forward. But I do see, I don't know why I'm getting this. I feel there's a little bit of jealousy coming up. It's not that they don't want you to be happy, but if somebody is giving you attention, and this can be couples and singles, it's regardless, there's two energies here, but it's not on divine masculine side. They're looking at it as it's on your side. I think some of them may find out that you have a secret admirer. I feel some of them are sensing that maybe, and look, this secret admirer could be your job. Do you know what I mean? But it's like they're channeling it and they're getting a bit panicky. And I think it might have been divine feminines over the last few weeks that maybe would have had a little bit of shadow aspect coming up in a sense of jealousy. I feel it's going to start to dissipate because you're going to have a lot on your plate that you need to deal with. And I feel as that starts happening, this is coming up in masculine's mind's eye. They'll never make you say yes or no. What do I mean by that? They're not going to make you choose. That's your choice. But there is this feeling of awareness of it. I do feel they want to be the masculine that you deserved. I do feel some of them are really feeling as if they don't hurry up, like you legitimately will be in another relationship for those of you that are single. Because they know that you're not going to be sitting on the sidelines forever. Okay, something that went on. Oh boy. We're coming back to the social event. Okay, let's break it down. There's a little bit of a tit for tat thing going on here. There's something that divine feminine wants to talk about. This has been coming up a few weeks in a row, and it's a bugbear at the moment. It's definitely something that has really peeved divine feminine off. Now, it may have been a social function. It might have been a promise that this person made, couples or singles, it doesn't matter. This has been coming up for a few weeks now. Now, if you had presumed or felt, it might have been your birthday past, it might have been a function that they went to. It may have been around Christmas and a promise they made to you on New Year's. Whatever this is, it's relating to a social situation. It's relating to anger and values and feeling the person is not putting their values in the right place. There's a misunderstanding here. I feel at a slight level, they're if they're an awareness of it, there's a little bit of, I didn't have that much fun. And again, some of you may think, hey, that's an excuse. That's how it's coming through from divine feminine. On the other side of it, I do feel there's a pending argument. This could be something that divine masculine did, but didn't give to feminine. I find when I'm hurt, I can't look at what I need to change within myself and see things clearly. Well, it's okay to, if it's a new kind of wound, it's okay to look at it. It's okay to be in that vibe. It's natural. It's a hurt feeling, right? It's an emotion. But after you calm down and you need to create those tools, which we do naturally, you then can then look at that and go, okay, how can I look at this? And that's why we do go through quite a bit before we go into union, is so that when those circumstances come up and that person's in front of your face, you can do that on the spot without wanting to run for the bloody hills, because we're breaking the runner-chaser cycle. And that directly does happen with both parties. So that's why it's hard before you go into union. I'm not saying it's easy when you're facing those fears, but I do see an argument here. It's hurt, divine feminine's feeling hurt towards the past. Masculine kind of knows there were some areas where they made a promise and, they were offering the world. Some of this energy, and it can be their schedule as well, especially for those of you in the connection already. Whatever this is, it's almost like attention was given elsewhere. The balance appears to be coming back, but it is to do with somebody's, for this new beginning, addressing the karma relating to it. And I'm using the bloody term karma again. But it's coming through more vengeful. It's coming through more, hey, you've hurt my feelings. I'm going to air my grievances with you if I have an opportunity. I don't feel this sort of behavior is fair. And look, it doesn't have to be that it goes directly into a fight. But that, at the moment, for some of you, is how it's going to play out. So you're being pre-warned. How you deal with it, it's totally up to you. Because I really don't feel Divine Masculine was ready for that. Because even though they were on their merry way doing what they needed to do after the last, I would say 3 to 6 months, that's what they're showing me at the moment, is that what I'm seeing is, to them, it wasn't a big deal. It's not like, oh my gosh, I love this situation. The whole time they were really planning their future with you. And in your mind, it's like, hello, McFly, we've missed a little spot over there. And so I just don't think they're actually aware. I don't think they're aware. They're being too focused on their pentacles. Doing things the old way. Up in their head, not really thinking straight. Oh, I'm telling you, these cards, they're hilarious. So, we can look at this as the feminine and the masculine. This is what's going on at the moment. The feminine's got her hands on her hips. In body language and psychology, when a person places their hands on their hips, it is to make their body look larger and more intimidating. So if you've ever noticed in a room, if you're sitting down and you move into it, and your divine masculine spreads his legs and puts his hands behind his head, it's because they're extending their body and they're feeling overpowered. And that can be any human being. We're extending the body and we're trying to make it bigger. Now, if you wanted to calm that situation, or you were being talked down to by any human being, by standing, you're actually increasing your height. It reduces the demeanor. You can actually break that down so you can communicate with this person. So at the moment, the body language, both in the 3D or the 4D, it's 4D at the moment, is that the masculine is like, look, I've got 99 problems. I'm doing my darndest here, but they didn't think of it, which is kind of problematic in your eyes, because you're thinking, how do you not see that? So you're focusing on your goals. I do feel both parties, because of the busyness. I remember back to 2020, and the way I explained Venus and Capricorn was in a connection, and that moving into these air energies, it's going to be better for connections. It's definitely for this year going to be much better for twin flames. However, at this point, we're revisiting 2020 and previous decades. So if those decades weren't fun, it's because it was very Capricorn. No issue with Capricorn. The transit at the moment is affecting us collectively. So I'm seeing that divine feminine does have a bit of a bee in their bonnet. Look, even those of you that are in the connection, it may be that you just have way too much you're doing. I do feel that there is something coming like lightning. I do feel a tower moment. I do feel some gossip coming externally. And I'm just hearing the term, I need answers. I need answers. And whatever this is about, I just don't think Divine Masculine saw it in the same way. So for some of you, this can be a deep conversation to do with the redirection. Confusion can happen if you are going over old crap over the next few weeks. I'll be live again next week. Don't be surprised. Understand it's an opportunity to negotiate through these things. Be cautious with the way you are. Try not to presume. Go into it like an open-ended conversation. Speak about it from your point of view. And I think you'll be able to mull over this. But I do feel there's been something, a conversation needs to happen here. A definite conversation. They know that this is going to go down, okay? There's something they want to talk to you about, but they kind of know how it's going to pan out, and it's kind of worrying them. You know? They know they're waiting in vain. But they're like, I know how this is going to go down. More than likely, it's going to end in a fight if we broach this subject. But they're needing to revisit this subject for some reason with you. But they're kind of worried that it's going to end in a fight. But they're willing to walk into it. Let me put it that way. It's not that they're going to shy away from it. They're kind of dreading, they're dreading it, but they know it's inevitable. Especially because it's actually going to provide both parties with clarity here. Let's see what's hidden. There's something that's hidden. I feel it's intent. What is the intent with the Divine Masculine at the moment? We will. Oh, okay. I feel it's like there's something that's really been bugging them at the moment. They have felt a bit down. They do feel guilty that but they're feeling a bit down at the moment. Okay. If they find that they haven't been able to be giving you everything, I think they're being strict on themselves because of Venus and Capricorn. It's affecting them because they feel that they need to be perfect in order to be with you, and that's not required. When I say perfect, it's like, look, you know, it's due to wounds of the past, but it's a habit that they're trying to break here. So the strictness of any karmic cycle they were directly in previously, it's kind of coming up in an ingrained energy. But they're putting pressure on themselves. I need to be romantic. I need to be here. I need to do this. I need to do that. I need to be the breadwinner. And it's like they're actually putting a lot of pressure on themselves. And, you know, some of these things are taking a lot longer. Some of them who are in a karmic connection, there may be a person that is directly codependent on them, which is putting a lot of pressure. Previous family, maybe. Finances relating to a previous family. Finances relating to a family member. This could be a mother or father. It's caused them to feel quite burnt out. You know, some of these people may actually already be, you know, separate from this situation. But again, there's the financial attribute of things that is directly impacting and affecting the union. Okay, I'll have a quick read of everyone's comments. How are we been? So expect a bit of a shake-up. Like I said, this is one of those transits at the moment. I'm not going to lie to you. There's a lot of hiddenness coming to the forefront during this transit. If something has been done in the dark, like it's coming out. And it doesn't matter how many years ago, whose side of the fence, dirt's coming out. Okay. They're coming to pay the ferryman. That's about the best way I can describe this. And I don't feel anybody is immune. Frankly, I don't feel anybody is immune to this one. So let's see how it goes. Who the heck is calling me now? This child. Unbelievable. Every Friday, I am live. Every Friday, my daughter rings me at this time. Unbelievable. If she keeps calling, what I'll do is I'll come back for the super chats because I don't want it to interrupt the feed. So, I'm coming back. I'll be back in about 10 and we'll do the super chats.